Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster on the World of Marketing, where I talk with industry leaders about marketing mindset and business growth. This episode is brought to you by my own company, Foster Web Marketing. Foster Web Marketing is dedicated to providing cutting-edge, highly customizable websites, marketing, video, and strategic solutions specifically designed for law firms, medical practices, and other professional service businesses. Our award-winning web technology and marketing system sets us apart from everyone else. Please visit our website at fosterwebmarketing.com if you want to know more. But today, I've got some guests from up north. So I'm very excited to introduce, okay, I hope I did remember. So Dr. Denis Cauvier.
Yeah, great.
Very good, okay. And Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp.
Beautifully said. Love it.
Okay. So I'm very excited. I've just met my new friends, and they come from the chiropractic world. And Dr. Beauchamp, Nathalie, has done a tremendous job as an entrepreneur, as well as Denis. And we're talking today about something specific, though, that they want to get through, which is about resilience, which I totally agree. Resilience, consistency, and that's what we're going to talk about. These two have developed quite an enterprise up in the Great North in Ottawa. And so without me butchering your story any more than I may have already, why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit, like you told me, about what you do and how you got there.
For sure. Maybe I'll start. So first of all, yes, you're quite correct. Nathalie is a chiropractor, very successful chiropractor, and she can speak to that in just a second. I am not that kind of doctor. So my doctorate is more industrial psychology. So for the past 35 years, my practice has been as a keynote speaker, consultant, turnaround business coach, and a custom trainer for different companies. So I've actually delivered and I work in 60 countries around the world as a professional speaker, authored 24 books, spoken live to about 2.7 million people. So that's really my background. And my whole thing is really, I focus on the people side of very successful businesses. You know, my take is, and in fact, talking about resilience, which is really a key topic we're discussing today. But my whole thing is about, it doesn't matter how good your IP is, or what school your degree is from, or the geographic location of your practice, in the corner of Maine and Washington. Wonderful, that's great. But at the end of the day, none of those advantages, you're never going to get the full ROI if you yourself and any of your teammates, if you have other people working with you, don't lean into best practice of being resilient. Life right now, there's just too many detractors. There's too many disruptions out there. And resilience, what is resilience? It's really about your ability to bounce back from adversity. And that's kind of the stuff we want to talk about today. But maybe I'll pass it over to Nathalie. She can introduce herself a little bit more. She's got so much to share.
Yes, please. Nathalie.
So yes, my name is Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp. I've been in practice as a chiropractor, but own a clinic, a wellness clinic in Ottawa. I'm also certified with the Institute of Functional Medicine in the US. So my passion is about health. I've organized a wellness expo here in Ottawa for 12 years. I do speak. I'm the author of 7 books now. So I'm just passionate about sharing health and deciphering the information, because it's so overwhelming for people. Like one day vitamin D is good for you, the next day it's not. So I know people are overwhelmed, and I'm still in practice. I have a good pulse on the struggles that people have. And for Denis and I to join on our journey, that we have written actually 2 books together, and I'll just show them for the
I'd like to know how you guys met and how you work together.
Yeah. So I met Denis, I guess, a few years ago through a mutual friend, and we just, I wanted to pick his brain because I am an entrepreneur, and wanted to pick his brain because he had written at that time, 22 books. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this.
Good for you guys, both of you. I mean, that's very accomplished.
Thank you.
Well done.
So we went for breakfast, and then one thing after another, we just kept meeting and kept, kind of discussing. And I said, Dennis, do you know what hormesis is? And he's like, no, I don't. So hormesis is basically, to put it simply, a stressor that we can have physiologically that will make us grow. Cold plunging, sauna.
Can you spell that?
Hormesis, Hormesis, hormesis.
Okay,
So,
people, we're learning something new here, man. We got some medical technology going on. Okay.
It's a fancy word to say a stress, but a good stress that will improve your resilience overall. So, Dennis wasn't familiar with the term. I am, because I'm more in health, but we applied the Hormesis principle to businesses. So at the beginning, we were going to write one book, but then we really saw that we needed to do two. So the first one is called Building Unshakable Business Resilience, leveraging the principle of Hormesis to unleash the potential of your people and your organization. And then the second one, which we call the companion book, is called Building Health Resilience Toolkit. And it's a comprehensive guide to boosting your energy, focus, and productivity. So our goal is to go and help businesses, small, medium, and large, with those two books, because we're addressing the physical aspect of resilience, but we're also addressing the business aspect of resilience. So we're really excited. The book have not been on the market for too long, and we're excited to share our strategy, because we're a good pair. We're combining. Dennis got 35 plus years in business. I myself have coached other clinics as well. I'm passionate about bringing my message out, but I also like entrepreneurship and marketing. So sorry for the long answer on that.
No, that's great. And so I have two requests. One, would you mind sending me copies of these books? I would love to read them myself and do a little report on what I learned, so we could have a follow-up podcast about that.
Sounds good.
And also, would like to know a link where we can get the books. Do you have that?
Well, the books are on Amazon, both of them. Now, so at amazon.ca.com, and we're probably in other countries as well now.
We're in about 30 countries.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, congratulations to both of you for, like I said, just producing a book. That's difficult enough as it is, and we're always promoting our clients. So you should do a book. You should do a book. You should write a book. So this is interesting how you've combined these two things, right? Like, and what you've discovered through this is that resilience is the key.
Yes, resilience is absolutely the key. So if you're talking about in practical terms, what does resilience mean? Well, resilience is really anyone's ability to bounce back from any form of adversity. Now, let's talk in very practical terms now, okay? So your show, your business is all about marketing, right? So with that in mind, let's talk about some hormetic challenges. So we're talking about hormesis, right? And let's lean into that a little bit. So what big hormetic challenges did your viewers have over the past couple of years? Well, there's this little bug that went around called COVID. Now, regardless on your position on the pandemic, we all had to respond. There was, there was isolation, there was stay-at-home mandates, all this kind of stuff, masking mandates. Can your practice be open? Can it not be open? If so, under what realities? Now, look, that is a reality that the individual really couldn't change the rules or the regulations. However, it's how you respond to that. So the old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That is the essence of understanding hormesis at play, okay? So as entrepreneurs, as business people within your own practice, You know, if you live long enough, life is going to kick you in the butt. That's just reality, okay? And the older we all live, the more opportunities we have to get kicked in the butt. And then it doesn't matter, guys, it doesn't matter what happens to you. What matters is how you respond to that situation. So it's an intellectual process. What is your mindset? Are you seeking for opportunities, or are you seeking for reasons to create a victim mindset? Let's talk about some other things, okay? So for example, all the disruptions right now in technology, the leaning into AI. AI is the elephant in the room. You got to live in a cave if you don't understand the implications of AI. So are you saying there's AI because someone can now go to ChatGPT and say, okay, come up with a partnership agreement, and it spits out a partnership agreement. I guess I don't need my lawyer anymore. Come up with 10 specific ideas for better health and wellness. It will spit stuff out. But how accurate is that? And how curated is it to you? So we, as thought leaders, we need to be out there and marketing our practices and our value add. And part of it is we got to be resilient. We've got to not fall into that victim mindset. We've got to bring more value to the equation. And part of it is not fighting. It is a value equation, but you know, if AI is out there, why not leverage AI? It can do 80% of the quick writing for you. Use that in your marketing, but then this is where you have to go through. Don't take what you know AI has regardless of what platform you're using, and just spit that out. This is where you pour in your personal experience, your value, and this is, by the way, guys, what we need to do is we need to develop right brain competencies. You know, right brain competencies is the real way that we can leverage AI. This is where we go into the creative part of our core competencies and bring out our value, not just your core education that you got to your formal education, but you know, your years of experience as an accountant, as a chiropractor, as a lawyer, as a medical professional. This is where you bring way more value to it. And this is your best way. Again, what people say, well, the challenge with thought leadership requires thinking. There's a pun intended here. Thought leadership, you got to think. Now, you can leverage some of the AI, etc., but you just have to polish it and put your own value add. So a little bit of a rant there. But this is really an extension of a hormetic challenge. I mean, we are all feeling these challenges. Will some jobs be obsolete? Well, any job that's just left brain thinking will become obsolete very quickly. Any occupation or profession that leans into right brain thinking, which is entirely different, can leverage the best of tech and still bring more value to your paying clients.
Well, I totally agree with you. I love it. Yes, no victim attitude, right? Like, don't be a victim of this. Don't. And a lot of people will, you know, they already have like AI. I'm glad you brought it up. Big topic, and totally agree with you. This is what I tell people all the time, because you know, we are content developers, you know, for our clients and their websites, and we have a lot of do-it-yourselfers, you know, that do it themselves, and we have to teach them how to do their content and how to write their content. And I'm like a big, hey, use AI, you know, to get you 80% of the way there, but don't just dump it up there like that. You're right. It is wrong very often, but it is like a dumb assistant is what. Look at your AI, like, instead of like worrying about the AI is going to take over and all that stuff, you're 100% right, doctor. Lean in. And instead of letting it own you, you own it. It becomes your assistant. Instead, you know, don't be a victim of it. If you become a victim of it, you're right. It will control you, and you will let it control you if you become a victim of it. And
if I may chime in to continue on Denis' thought about the victim aspect, for me, you know, coming from my perspective, it's also about self-responsibility. And I say that from a health point of view for yourself. You know, no one else is going to take care of yourself. So you need to make sure as a business owner and as an entrepreneur that you're resilient, but also to employers. Now, you know, back in the days, you know, it was bulletin board, stretching, and a water cooler, and here's your wellness corner, that kind of thing. So nowadays we have to do so much more for our employees in terms of, and not so much more necessarily costly, but so much more to empower people. And I'm not being a business owner as well. When I do work with companies, it's not the company's responsibility to keep their employee healthy, but there's a bit of a but. If they can facilitate it, the employees will really appreciate. And nowadays, retention is huge, right? Like the cost of hiring someone and training someone, and then they leave and so forth. So to me, showing as an entrepreneur, even if you have a small team, that you're caring enough, with your employees to value their health and give them tools like books, like webinars. Like I constantly do webinars for organization on weight loss and detox and ergonomics and inflammation and so forth. Like you're bringing value, for yourself, because you should be the best example, but you're also bringing value to your employees, and it doesn't have to cost a lot, but then they're happier, they're more productive. Like at the end, you're winning because they're empowered, they like the culture that you've created, and they're more productive, more focused, more energized, and so forth. So that's why those two just go in hand when we go into a corporation, like I said, small, medium, or large, that we're bringing value from the ground up. Because if you don't have your health and you get up in the morning and you're brain fogged, you're not productive, I'm sorry, you might be the smartest person on the planet, but you're not going to be very productive. And that goes for ourselves. So making sure that we're hitting all the 10 pillars that we're talking about in the toolkit is important.
I could not agree with you more, Nathalie. And I'm so glad that you brought it up about, like take care of your employees, like, with healthcare. And this is one of the things that so many companies, especially small companies like us, entrepreneurs, they like look at this as a cost savings opportunity instead of an investment. Because not only does it make your people happy, which it does, it gets you better people. Because people that are good, this is important to them, and they appreciate it. So we've got an excellent healthcare program for my employees that I'm very proud of, and that's one of the things that when I was growing this company, I grew it from just me doing this, and I got one person at a time. But as soon as I could get a good healthcare program. And we've had a few, but now we've got a really good one. And as a matter of fact, when the representative that does our healthcare, and I wish I could remember her name, but anyway, it doesn't matter. When she gave her lecture or whatever, her presentation to the employees about here are your options, she was like, I've never had a company, and I'm just doing a little bragging here, if you don't mind. That has contributed so much. We could do 90%, and no other company. She hasn't worked with any other company and it was great. First of all, I didn't even know we did that much. I was like, wow, that's great, because it makes people. You're right. It makes people very happy and secure, and that's one of the biggest questions when you're hiring good people. Is that's one of the top questions is what are the, benefits. And now absolutely. We're on to not just health, but financial piece of it. We want to be able to 401k match, and we want to get to that point. I got about 50 people working here. So it's a big operation, and we got to keep, the bigger you get, the more that you got to do to keep people happy and attract good people, because it becomes more competitive.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things that we've talked about, Nathalie and I, in our books and in our speeches, is we go beyond the conversation of work-life balance. Now that's a good start, but we talk about work-life synergy. And it's not always a perfect balance. Sometimes you have to, something's happening at home. You got to have a little bit of flex to take care of a significant thing at home. And also sometimes at work, you just got to put more effort in, and maybe the seasonality of the business. Accountants certainly understand that this time of the year, for example. But it goes beyond the notion of synergy. It speaks to developing a holistic approach to your people. So it's not just investing in the development of the right brain skill set and competencies to leverage the best of tech, for example. It's also the notion of soft skill development. The reality is soft skill development yields hard results, and hard results are right to the bottom line. So there's so much research over decades that proves that these are some of the best investments, highest ROIs for any entrepreneur, any employer. But also educating people. You spoke a little bit about finances. Educating people on basic financial literacy and supporting that with the 401ks, et cetera, et cetera. It is that synergistic approach. What's that?
I need some of that basic financial.
Dennis has a book on it, actually, right, Dennis?
I actually have
great.
7 books on that subject.
That's why
I'm a reformed banker. I used to be a banker, so.
Oh wow! Yes.
Yeah, but I cured that. But so this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because think about it. Finances. You want to talk about single biggest cause of marital or partner discourse is financial concern. So that's just a fact. We know that. You can't argue that. So yes, in theory, if you got a problem at home,
health,
you keep it at home.
And health, right?
Doctor is absolutely.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they're so interrelated, these two issues. So what happens is, we say, keep your home. Sorry, just to complete the thought here. You're supposed to keep your home issues at home, work issues. It doesn't work that way. So anything you can do on financial literacy, health and wellness literacy, it's just going to make a more agile and robust and resilient workforce.
And to that point, Nathalie, I went to my chiropractor years ago, and he's also a kinesiologist. And I learned so much about how the stress of my job or what I do, the ownership of the company, and the fact that I have all of these people to consider that work for me, but also my clients that are, depending on my company, me and my people to do the job. It's an enormous amount of pressure and stress, and how stress is absorbed in the body. And now I got to go back. I got to go back to my guy, Dr. Lamp.
And a little bit of a side note on that, chiropractors are more known for, shoulder pain, neck pain, and headaches and low back pain.
Underrated. The most underrated profession there is.
Yeah, because we're also educator, meaning that we're there I see myself as a partner with my patients, that I'm there to guide them on their health. Hence the book as tools for them to, when they leave my office, these are the resources that, you can use, because I'm one small part of the equation, but what they do when they get home, same with your employees, is a huge part, right? So if we can support them and educate them for them to understand, and let's face it, in order for us to change a habit, we need to understand the why, because it's not going to happen. It's hard enough to change a habit if you don't really understand why. So good on your chiropractor to have educated you on, the spine, the nervous system, but on a lot of other things. And doctors mean teacher, right? So it's part of our process, really.
100%. And here's the thing, like a big rah, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about just the chiropractic industry, because I learned so much that you don't have to get cut, right? You don't have to get on some kind of medicine, some kind of, thing that's paying big pharma. And that's the difference, is like, it's a holistic solution. And you're right. A lot, like you can fix whatever pain I'm having in my back or whatever, but ultimately it's about this pain can keep happening. whether you try to cut it out or whether you do, I come, you come here every week.
We're often called doctor of cause, right?
Yeah.
Naturopath chiropractors, we're trying to go to the cause of the problem. And
right.
Right.
So. Exactly. And it's fascinating. And anyway, I love it. And I value what you do, your profession very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's a tough profession because, the deck is stacked against you because of big medical, big pharma money. Like they make so much money. Like the more they cut you open and tell you the problems, the more drugs they can stick down your throat and make money. And the chiro is totally different. It's like, no, you can, fix yourself for $200 if you I can do this today.
Yeah.
But then you've got to do this every day. Like think differently.
Hence me talking about self-responsibility.
Right.
So at the end of the day, no one's going to do it for you. I work out, I exercise, I do the things that I say to my patients. And this is just yesterday, one patient's coming in with chronic low back pain. She sits for 8 hours, if not 10, if not 12.
Right.
She walks the dog, good for her, but that's not enough, and now we know that sitting 5 years ago, I heard the expression, sitting's the new smoking. And when I heard it.
Yeah, that's what my chiropractor told me.
Yeah, and honestly, when I heard it first, I'm like, well, that's a little bit extreme. Yeah. Like, honestly, that's what I thought 5 years ago. But now, 5 years later, I can tell you that it is not overrated.
Now, I feel bad because I'm sitting here. I'm sitting, and both you guys are standing.
We're standing.
I know. I got a stand-up desk. I can stand up right now.
Well, there we go. There we go. There's no time like present time, right? There we go.
There we go. Now
you'll see also.
Oh, I feel so much better.
I know your energy will be higher standing. I do all my meetings standing. It's amazing.
Yep. I usually do too.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, by the way, Tom. I mean, literally mid-interview, you stand up, you adjust stuff. Most people would not do that. And what you just illustrated. Absolutely. No, it's great. In fact, I want to talk about a foundational thing. And we're just having a little bit of fun right now, but the reality is you have just demonstrated being coachable. That teachable mindset. One of the best ways to deal with obstacles and adversity out there is being coachable. And in fact, one of our books where we talk about this, we have lots of self-assessments throughout the books so people can really judge where they are within these particular principles that we're talking about. And we've got this one thing, and it's all about change. For example, if you're talking about setting a goal or growing your business from a marketing perspective or any growth perspective or resilience, the key word is change. It's our ability to embrace change. And one of the actual self-assessments we have is called Are You Blocked? And blocked is an acronym for the things that hold us back from being change ready or willing. And ultimately, it boils down to 2 A words: arrogance and apathy. Apathy is when you think you just don't need to change. Arrogance is basically if you think that nothing or no one is important enough for you to change. Now think about that. If someone is apathetic or arrogant, they are so blocked to change that they will definitely become victims of reality and adversity, and they will, by definition, not be resilient. You just stood up. Awkwardly stand up, go to adjust the mic. This is exactly what we're talking about that we need to lean into. Little changes and big changes. And people, your viewers, need to really embrace change if they're going to grow their business.
Also, what gets in the way is ego, which is the hardest thing. And that's part of arrogance, right?
Absolutely. In fact, arrogance is so locked to it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And, that's what, let go of your ego. And, well, plus I'm a former Marine, so I do what I'm told. I'm like, I better stand up. That's what my doctor said. But, yeah, I mean, being coachable, one is, in order to be coachable, whoever is being that you want to coach, they've got to buy into what you're doing. They got to buy into you. And like, if I hadn't already bought into kinesiology and chiropractic, you know, like, and have the respect that I have for the doctor here, and her profession, you know, I might have just been like, whatever, I'm not going to stand up. You know, it doesn't mean anything. But the point is, like, wow, okay, that's a reminder to me to get up. And yeah, I think that people are coachable if they believe in what they're being, if they believe in the person coaching them and they trust them, and they believe in the process.
So there's a yin and a yang to this whole coachable thing. So you've just described half of it beautifully. You know, are you coachable? Are you open? Are you change ready? You know, do you buy into the other individual? Now, the other side of it is the person that's doing the coaching. So if you take the word coachable, do they have the ability to coach others? And that's part of, you know, your own background. It's your skill set, it's your education, but it's a lot to do with your character and your intentions. You know? So as a coach, and think about it as thought leaders in all your various practices of people that are watching, you know, you're the coach. You're making recommendations for someone's finances if you're an accountant, for their health if you're a health practitioner, and the list goes on, right? So you need to, one of the things we say is we need to develop our coaching skills so we have the ability to coach others more effectively, because it's about influence. And I mean, do we have the ability?
It's about results too. Like, is your coaching effective? Are people actually carrying out? Because, you know, as you know, both of you, that you can coach people, and there's a lot of people in this world, especially in our business, that love to be coached but don't execute. And they're just always going to school, and they're like, they got the same problems because they don't execute. And I got a great quote: a goal without execution is a hallucination.
That's good.
Right? You'll never achieve it. And that's part of what you're, you know, the point that we're making here today about resiliency, about, you know, you have to, I have tons of goals. It's funny because I was just talking about that with my team. We're in a marketing meeting, and there's a new objective I want to do in marketing and get this certain kind of business, which is I want to start doing services, SEO and content, and video for clients that are on WordPress sites, which we've never done before. We've only serviced our own clients. And of course, everybody in my, whoa, that is a change. I can't accept. Many of them are like, some of them are like, sure, let's do it. Others are like, no, here's all the reasons why we can't do it. You know, rehearsing difficulties. And I just said, you guys can scream and yell all you want. We're doing this. Figure it out. And that's resilient, as you said, resiliency all the way on to the team. Now, I still have work to do on that. It's not a one-time event. You've got to stay resilient. You've got to stay focused. You've got to stay on target, stay on goal, in order to achieve them. You can't just expect it to happen because you utter it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where accountability. If you're coaching someone, or if you're being coached, there needs to be some sort of an accountability agreement, whether it's a physical document you sign or just an understanding. You know, one of the best ways to acknowledge, value, and appreciate someone who's pouring into you through their coaching, if you will, is actually being held accountable and doing what you say you're going to do. Or as an adult, if you know, put on your big boy or girl pants if you're not going to do it, and say, okay, coach, I appreciate that. I know that's exciting for you. I ain't going to do it. You know, have the gumption to be an adult and hold yourself accountable.
Yep. There's no try. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. And you got to be honest with your coach about it. And I have these conversations all the time, like I'm sure you guys do, about here's your end of the deal. Here's my end of the deal. I did my end of the deal. Here's what I did. Here, what my team did, you know, and what have you done? Sadly, more times than not, I didn't get my assignment done, because they're not, especially my clients, it's not a priority for them. Priority for them is to do the surgery or do the, work on the case or deal with the client. Here's the other thing, is that all people do what they want to do, what makes them happy, which releases the dopamine, right? Before they're going to do the stuff that they got to do, right? And you've got to associate or figure out the best way to make both those things synergistic.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it the book called Eat That Frog? Is it Brian Tracy, the book? And it's all about that. I would say to that, oftentimes the why is not strong enough, and the not doing it is not painful enough. So with your clients, you got to find out if their why is big enough, and not doing it, do they actually understand the consequence of not doing it? Because they may not completely understand the possibility, if you're talking about SEO marketing and creating video and promoting it online. Do they understand the extent to what it could bring to their businesses? And they probably don't. That's the clarity is not there. So, painting that forward picture.
I mean, like some of them do. Right. And it's no different than you, doctor, right? Like you need to do these things. It's like, I can fix you. I can crack your back. I can crack your neck.
We say adjust.
But you need to stop eating that stuff. Right. Adjust. Sorry.
Adjust. Yes.
You got to stop eating fried chicken and nuggets and going to McDonald's every day. And you need to go walk a mile a day. And you need to do these things. Okay. I'll see you in a month. And they come back and they're like, no, I didn't do it. I hit McDonald's every day, or no, I don't know, or whatever.
Yeah. This thing about understanding your why, what Nathalie was saying is so important. In fact, right in this book here, right in the very beginning of it, we got an exercise that readers are telling us it was actually transformative, because, we can talk about discover your why, it'll change your life, but that sounds a little esoteric kind of thing. How do you do that? We've created an actual formula, an exercise that line by line within one page. If a reader's prepared to put 10, 15 minutes into that one page, they will figure out their core purpose, their why, as it relates to their practice. And then all of a sudden, they'll have leverage to do what was uncomfortable before, now becomes essential and must do. And very quickly, they can start to find some pleasure in doing that. It is a phenomenal transformative process. One page out of about 128 pages. I mean, there's lots of stuff in there. So there's an actual model on how to walk people through that process.
Can I show you something? I'd like to get your opinion, because we've done this exercise. I'm going to actually change my screen, my background, so you can see. So this is our why. Curate relationships, honor your commitments, use innovation to drive results, educate and elevate our clients to success. And so this is why we do what we do. Whoops, look, my dude's showing up like that. That's creepy.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's great. Exactly. And with that, you paint a picture. You paint a picture as to the essence of your why, your core vision, your mission, all of that.
And your employees are into it. You got to educate your employees. The employees have to share your why. You have to win them over, like, emotionally. Otherwise, they're just cogs in the wheel, right? That's why companies that grow so fast kind of fall apart, because they lose that momentum, that emotional momentum of people that are, like, they're in it because of the company, because of the brand, because of the leader, because of whatever reason they're there, because of how their other relationships with people there. And that's the culture that you need to create these days in small companies. It's lost in a big corporation. It's almost impossible to do that,
Well, the thing of it is tougher. It's tougher to do in big corporations simply because of the size, but it's absolutely doable. I've got I've got dozens of clients around the world with track records of how we've created this. Even in one company with a 5 generation of ownership, dealing with the 4th and 5th generation of a massive company in Malta.
Well, they're smart to do it, right? Because
it's an investment. But what I call this, and I love the way you express this because it's so true. What you're talking about is an alignment. It's an alignment with why or core values.
Right.
And when you are able to not only communicate that efficiently, as you have done, but you as the leader are the living embodiment of this, and your people start to live this way, it actually does 2 things. It repels people that are not like-minded, which is good, because they're not going to work well within your culture, but it becomes actually a dynamism that attracts new talent to your organization, not to mention clients, and it also becomes a great retention tool. So 100% agree with you. And we actually talk about this, in the books. We talk about how to develop this culture regardless of the size of your organization, because you're right. This stuff is critically important for businesses.
100%. Okay, hold up those books again.
All right.
Hold up those books. Okay, Building Health Resilience Toolkit and Building Unshakable Business Resilience. And we're going to put the links to those books in Amazon in the description below.
Yeah, and we'll send you 2 copies of them, and then you can give us your review on it.
My review, and I'm sure that I will enjoy it because I have certainly enjoyed speaking with you two. Just meeting you. I would like to continue this conversation and keep talking about this stuff with you, so I'll have you back. But I appreciate, but is there anything else that you'd like to say before we go today?
Yeah. I was going to say I really enjoyed the conversation. It's always nice. I love seeing entrepreneurs succeed and build businesses like you have. So kudos to you. I get excited about, people like you building, because that is the foundation of the world, really. Small and medium businesses and entrepreneurs like you. So kudos to you.
Thank you. I learned an important lesson early on, which is delegate out. And a lot of people, as you guys know very well, have a hard time letting go of this or that, or especially letting go of their favorite part of, what got them into the business in the first place. They're making pies, if they're, adjusting backs, but you need help, to scale and to grow. And in order to scale and to grow, without driving yourself crazy, you need to get good people that you can depend on and rely on while you take breaks, while you go on vacation, while, they'll deal with the angry client or they'll deal with the happy client, they'll do the bills, they'll do those things that work you up. And I love that you guys have thought about this and put these books together to help everybody else, and that you're, so open and sharing. That's the other thing that I appreciate about both of you, is that, you've shared your experiences and in order to help others.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
So thank you so much. Okay, hang on, guys. I'm going to just close out, and then I want to talk to you. So everybody, thank you so much. It's been Tom Foster on the World of Marketing with my Canadian friends. Denis and Nathalie, thank you so much for coming to the World of Marketing, and I will talk to you all soon, and everybody else have a wonderful day.